Hey, what's up guys, Jordan Anderson here, and we have a very special episode today because we're reviewing Alright, so I got the Quasar QLED set up here. This is now my key light. I got it kind of at an angle just sort of above me. Sort of what my need was for this is that I normally shoot during the day in this office, so it's daylight balance, and it gets very hot in here in Louisiana, so this office with the AC turned off and everything, it can get extremely hot in here. And obviously LEDs are very cool to the touch. Like I'm touching this one right now. It's been running for about 20 minutes and it's just slightly warm to the touch. Lighting reviews are a little strange because I'm trying to tell you my application for this light, but other cinematographers out there could have 1,000 different applications for this thing. A light is just a tool, so the question is how well do you use your tool and what is the tool used for? So for me right now, I need this as a key light, so it's just kind of above me, but if you wanted to put this in a car and sneak it in there as sort of like a dash light, you could do that. You could put it in the background and add some like cool like music video effects if you wanted to. You could do some sort of sci-fi thing. How small this one is, now granted this is the 2-foot one, they do come in 4 foot and 8 feet and 6 feet. This is just a 2-foot size, but just the amount of versatility you have with this thing, how low power it takes up, and then also how it's not a heat factor, so this is not a dangerous thing. There's no glass in here. There's nothing that's going to shatter or explode or burn you. It's on the safety side, that's kind of a plus for me. So on their website they say that this is a 95 plus CRI rating. That just measures how well the color is replicated. So like we have daylight out behind me, and then like this light is hitting me. Ideally, since this is a 5600 light, that this is basically the same color of light coming in, so that the white balance is good. Just in layman's terms, it just means it says it's 5600, so I have to believe that it's 5600. And from just like this look right here, I would say it's 5600. And this also comes in 3200. If you needed an incandescent source, you could use this. And this is probably going to resonate within the review, is that the hardest thing about these light tubes is that it's literally just a tube. So you're going to need some kind of mounting hardware to go with this, some kind of like Kino Flow accessory, or if you're like me, you just use gaff tape on the end. This feels very solid. I don't have any problem with this. Just a couple loops of duct tape around it, and now it's set. So now I have it on the gobo arm, and I just kind of like, now I can just like rotate it as I see fit. Oh yeah, that's probably another thing too. If you just have light stands at your house, you're just kind of like a DIY filmmaker, light stands are going to limit you on what you can do with the Quasars. That means you could probably just mount them vertically. If you want some kind of like spread, or like a little bit something where you can kind of angle it or like put it above the subject, definitely get yourself a C-stand. If you've worked with Kino Flows, it's the same kind of workflow. You're mostly working in diagonals, or you're working in sort of broad strokes. Using it vertically, it would be for some certain applications, but if you're keying with this, then you're looking at either, you know, putting it completely horizontal and aiming at the subject, or a little diagonal to get sort of a nice sweep of light across the body. This is probably the equivalent of a 250 watt light. So a 250 watt light in the other LED world, or even in the Fresnel world, incandescent light source world, that's going to be fairly sizable. Something that is not going to be as easy to one, install, and then two, be able to manage or like tuck away somewhere, hide it so that no one can see it. Oh yeah, did I also mention that this thing is pretty cheap for what it is? This light right here is $45. I got mine $45 and like a couple of dollars of shipping. But the power of this light and its workability and its color accuracy, and like all of this normally has been going for like $250 online. I mean, if you can go like super cheap, crappy LED lights that need batteries and all this crap. But if you want a house power LED light, you're looking to spend at least $150 with some peace in mind. So for them to come out and make a $45 light that is, I hate to use the word game changer, and I won't, but it's it's quite remarkable that this light, at the power that it has and the application that it has, is only $45. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is starting a war with Kino Flow. Kino Flow makes some great stuff, but if you had a Kino Flow box, and they're really it's like you kind of see the sales patterns on B&H Photo, but they're starting to sell just the components of a Kino Flow with the shade and the egg crates and the actual light tube holders, and not selling the Kino Flow tubes themselves, but now starting to. It seems the trends now are everyone's starting to replace their Kino Flows with these Quasar Science lights. Or basically what they're doing is they're sort of retrofitting their Kino Flow setup for the Quasar Science lights. So this was the T8 dimmable light, but I will say that there is not a dimmer on the light itself. It means it's dimmer compatible, so you're gonna have to get a separate dimmer. Maybe you have one, maybe you can go buy one on Amazon. You're able to dim the light with the dimmer switch, but just to clarify that this does not have a dimmer on the light itself. This dimmer right here, it's like, it does the typical thing that Kino Flows do when you're dimming them, that once you get below about 25, and again, this could be my dimmer, so maybe just factor this into what I'm about to say, but it's doing the thing that Kino Flows do, that once it has to get at least to about 30% before it sparks. Like that right there, it just turned on, and that's about 25%, 30%, and then it gets up to full power. So once it's at full power, then you can kind of like, you can pull it back a little bit, and it goes all the way down. Still on, we're about 10%, and that's like, I'd say that's like 5%. Now it's completely off. Make sure you have a quality dimmer switch with it, and this functions almost the same way as like any Kino Flow with the dimmer switch on the back. So I showed you guys earlier that you can use gaffer's tape on here, so I just got gaffer's tape pretty tight here, and then also on this end, which means you could, like, if you wanted to put it on your wall, you could maybe do that. Just be careful with the paint and shit. I don't want to hear how I damaged your house. But also you could use a Mayfors clamp like this, or a Cardellini clamp. I'll put a picture of a Cardellini clamp. That's what that looks like. But the Mayfors clamp could do the job, because you could just put the baby pin into the gobo head and then clamp it down. This is all plastic, or it feels all plastic. There might be metal in here. I'm sure there's metal in here. But I went to use my pony clamps right here that I got at the hardware store at first, and these are metal and fairly hard, and right as I let go of it, I could really start to feel the structure of the LED start to like bend a little bit, so that made me nervous to use like full metal A-clamps or pony clamps. Now if you had some like these, I have these like also like little plastic ones. These are a little like, the mouth is a little too big, but if you wanted to use plastic clamps, that might be a better option than to do metal clamps. And I say the Cardellini clamps or the Mayfors clamps because they have rubber inserts on the inside, so they're a little more able to grip the Quasar LED. but also there's a little bit, there's a better level of control because you can just dial it in, get it as tight as it needs to be so that you're not going to crush this or break this or crack this in any way. Alright guys, so this, I would say the Quasar QLED is an awesome tool to have. Again, tools can be misused, the hammer can be used as a screwdriver, so it's up to you as the cinematographer to decide what you do with this tool. But as a safe light where it's not going to explode, it's not going to burn your hand on set, this is something I would add to the grip truck. Also, I really haven't mentioned just how like soft the source is. There's no need for gels, there's no need for frost or crystal on here. It's just a nice soft source. So this is definitely going to become my key light. This would definitely work as some nice, like a really nice product review light where it's just a super soft source where you're going to get a nice soft image, soft lighting on the product. Oh yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the description below, and you can learn more about this. I'm also going to put this dimmer here in the description in case you do need a dimmer for your Quasar light. Again, the biggest pro and con at the same time of this light is its rigging. So the rigging is very non-traditional. It's not going to fit in your typical light stands or, you know, on just right on a C-stand. But if you're able to figure out a way to rig this properly, then you're going to have so much more versatility with this light. You're able to hide it more. You're able to treat this as a practical, and this is going to take up less space in your production. That means less stuff on set, and also means for a more versatile light. We have an announcement to make. I've been talking about this for like a month or so that I'm going to give something away, and the giveaway item is going to be a Quasar 2-foot QLED T8 light. That's going to be the giveaway, guys. Okay guys, so let me give you the full details on how you can enter a chance to win one of these Quasar QLED T8s. You do have the option, if you win, to have 3200 or 5500. So here's how you do it. Once you finish watching this video, there's going to be a link in the description below. That link will take you to my Instagram page. You're going to then follow me on Instagram, Jordan P. Anderson, and then you're going to leave a comment by tagging your friend in this photo here. So find this photo on my Instagram page, leave a comment, tag a friend, and also say what you would use this light for. I'm very curious what applications we could use this for. I'm going to run the promotion for about a week. I'll put the closing date in the description of the photo. So all the details will be in the description of the photo. So if you're like still unsure about what to do, all that information will be there. Once that is ended, I'll randomly select a comment in that photo. I'll direct message you, and I'll let you decide if you want a 3200 or a 5500, and that's how you win. So I'm pumped, guys. This is the end of the Quasar QLED review. Thanks for watching this far. And yeah, this is an awesome light, like super soft, just a badass light. So again, thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jordan Anderson, and we'll see you next time.